Whether you're outside grilling, changing diapers, or just trying to catch a breath, the Young Dad Podcast is your spot for real conversations about fatherhood, manhood, and everything in between. I'm your host, Jay, and I sit down with dads, experts, and everyday men to talk about the joys, the struggles, and the lessons that come with raising kids and building a meaningful life. From mental health and relationships to faith, family, and the funny stuff only dads understand, YDP is here to remind you that you're not doing this alone. So grab a juice box, grab a snack, kick back, and join the conversation because fatherhood doesn't come with a manual, but it should come with a podcast. Most men don't talk about sexual struggles, especially fathers. They carry stress, exhaustion, shame, pressure to perform, and the quiet fear that something's wrong with them, quote unquote. And instead of asking questions, many men suffer in silence or look for quick fixes that never address the real issue. Pills, supplements, other alternatives. But today's guest helps men understand something most of us were never taught. Sexual health isn't just about sex. It's about mental health, emotional regulation, confidence, and connection with your partner. When those areas break down, it affects everything: marriage, parenting, leadership, and how a man shows up at home. So, whether you're outside grilling, mowing the lawn, changing dirty diapers, or maybe you finally got a moment to sit back, relax, and listen to your favorite podcast, thanks for being here and thanks for tuning in. Want to give a quick disclaimer if you didn't pick up already from that intro. This one may have a lot more sexual talk about sex, things like that. So please, disclaimer alert, if you typically listen to this with your family, friends, kids around, maybe don't this one. It'll be okay, I promise. Anyways, today's guest is Emma, founder of Tantric Awakenings, a tantric sex, love, and relationship coach who helps men cultivate confidence, vitality, and mastery in their sexual health and overall lives. With over 30 years in holistic health, fitness, and tantra, Emma developed the integrative approach combining nervous system regulation, mindfulness, nutrition, and embodiment practices to help men overcome ED, premature ejaculation, and performance anxiety naturally. Her work centers on the powerful truth: sexual health is deeply connected to mental, emotional, and relational health. And when men learn to understand their bodies and energy, everything else improves. So make sure you grab your juice box, grab a snack for this one, and let's jump into the conversation. And of course, Emma, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jay. I'm so happy to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for you to be here. So I guess let's go back before it all, because I know there's a story behind how you got here and started doing this work specifically. So tell us a little bit about how you even ended up doing what you're doing, working with men, working with their sexual health, things like that.
Thank you. I started working as a nutritionist and a trainer and a yoga teacher and a life coach to men, helping them improve their health. When men came to me initially, that was because they didn't feel as vital in their body. They had a lot of stress. They started to have some blood panels that were less than satisfactory and just wanted to stay ahead of the curve or turn around serious chronic illnesses. And invariably in the conversation, what would come up would be, struggles in their relationship, a lot of stress, a lot of responsibility. A lot of the men I work with are fathers and they're successful at work. They're responsible and they're deeply committed to their relationship, but they're also exhausted and they're disconnected from their body and they struggle often silently with desire, intimacy, and self-confidence. And so in the process of helping them regain vitality from a physiological level, which often includes calming the nervous system. And we'll talk about that because that's the key to deep intimacy and vibrant sexuality. But in order to heal out of diabetes or out of cancer or out of autoimmune disorder, you need to calm the immune system, calm the nervous system, and you start shifting at the hormonal level. You replace stress hormones by other hormones that are more supportive. Your testosterone, which is crushed by lack of sleep and by stress, now suddenly start to raise. And with it, you have more mental focus, more alertness, more confidence. And so those physiological changes started to also bring them in front of deeper questions with their relationships and how they show up in their marriage and how they show up with their children. And the positive effect of having a more regulated nervous system gave them their health back, but also gave them more capacity to hold more emotional connection with their partners and be more present and available as fathers with their children. So that connection between the physical body and the nervous system and the emotional relationships around them. Also, being a woman and having men in my life, I felt the difference when my man was resourced or not resourced. Men are always go, 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 have to show up, have to provide. And they're so There's so much pressure about performing and providing, and it's great. They love the challenge, but they're under-resourced. So it's not that they can't do it. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the capacity to do it all and do it in a way that feels good and protects their health. So when I started to do all of this and I dug into Tantra, which is the framework that really helps shift the way you show up in sex, and we'll talk about that later, of
Mhm.
course, I'm sure. But this is what led me to being a practitioner of Tantra for about 20 years. I decided to become a teacher, go back to school, certified so that I could guide others through the methods and integrate this in my practice.
Love it. What are we misunderstanding about, the sexual health piece that men typically miss, overlook, don't connect, don't realize from your experience?
It's a gigantic question because it depends on the man. But I think men are listening to this, but I hope women will also. So I just want to share for men to feel seen, but also for women to hear this. I'd like to share what I have seen men struggling with, but that they rarely say, because men rarely say when they struggle, they endure. And you can endure on a depleted body, and that doesn't go very well, or you can endure, and it's called in a very resource body, and it feels like containment. Like I've got the capacity, I got this, and it feels good to handle so much. So things that they have found that they struggle with that affects their sexual health is first exhaustion and being hormonally depleted. And also I found that young dads are touched deprived. We can talk about that. And they also carry a lot of performance pressure at work and at home. And a lot of them have told me that by the time you're done with all the chores and it's time to go to bed, now it's time to have sex. And sex feels like just yet another thing that I have to do and I have to be good at. And so there's this additional one more task that really turns off the body. And we'll talk about that as well. I also found that men struggle with being afraid to lose their partner emotionally and sexually after the birth of a child. And as motherhood and fatherhood develops, I found that the stress that men endure when they become father has such a toll on their physical health that it starts showing up as unreliable erections. There's changes in erection vitality. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I have desire, sometimes I have not. Sometimes I have stamina, sometimes I have not. So there's a less predictability around sexual health in the bedroom. I also found that because men are under so much performance pressure, so much to provide, that they are very much residing in their head and planning and thinking and problem solving and how to help her and how to take care of the kids and the work and everything, that they become disconnected from their bodies and their pleasure. And that has a big effect on the quality of an erection and the stamina of a man. I also found that some men come to me suffering a little bit from resentment and guilt and emotional shutdown, because after a while, when it's too much, and feeling that, they're doing so much and yet it's not enough, or yet they're not being met emotionally. It doesn't feel safe for them to express and be the way they are. So there's a little bit of a resentment, of a guilt of giving so much, but being under-resourced. And then there's the real reality that when you have a child, you navigate a relationship where there is less sex and without really a language for it. And connected to this, and that's my last point here, a lot of men are afraid that by wanting sex after having a child makes them seem selfish. And so if I was summarizing all of this, is young dad become responsible, one more giant, the biggest responsibility of their lives, most likely, right? But
Mhm.
they're at the same time less alive, right? Because of
Mhm.
the pressure, the tension is crushing down that aliveness. And that's where your sexual health, and I want to bridge this, when you do sexuality in a very different way, and we'll talk about that, sex can actually be what brings you back that aliveness, that helps you nourish your body so deeply, physically, emotionally, mentally, soul connection, that you actually start feeling like you're Superman again. So your sex could be the place where, even we'll talk about self-pleasure. I think masturbation is very important, but not the way it's typically think of, but more as a way of self-connection, self-nurturing that can start turning around things on all of those points. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And if we're touching on like kind of all those things, stress, nervous system overload, mental pressure, physical pressure, day-to-day pressure, day-to-day routine, and just all the things going on. And it makes sense because it's like when your body's so stressed, when you're overloaded, when you're overworked, you're overtired. I mean, and then you gotta still perform at a certain level. It's tiring. It makes you not want to do it. It makes you just want to
Mhm.
just go to bed because it's like, man, I gotta stay up another, 30, 40, however long, mm, 20, 30, 40 minutes, right? For this to happen. And there has to be, all these steps. And then it's gonna take this long and this is gonna take this long. And then you start to think of the time. And then you're like, man, then I'm gonna lose an hour because there's all these parts to it, and it could definitely get to a point where it's just like, I don't want to because it's already, 8:30, and then by the time it's all done, it's gonna be almost 10, and then it's still gonna take me this long to fall asleep into things like it then it's just everything, right? And then
Yes,
that's where
exactly.
the overload comes in, the stress comes in, and you're just not wanting to be a part of it, and then the more that happens and the more connection starts to break and drift
Mhm.
away, and then it goes from, okay, now one day turns into a week turns into 2, and 2 turns into 3, and
Yes.
now it's been a month, and it's like 2 months, and then it's like,
Yes.
okay, well, now I feel bad that it hasn't happened, and now she's begging for it, so now I kinda gotta do it kinda thing
Mm.
just to kinda keep her happy and not because I'm committed here still. It's not like I'm not committed. It's like I need to show her that I'm still committed, that there's nothing else happening, that it's, like, still her, and, like, kinda just, like, nut up or shut up kinda thing, and then kind of keep moving forward. So, yeah,
Mhm.
no, I hear where you're coming from. I think this is a very common issue for men in general. I mean, that's what we talk about in our circles. It's like, "Man, it's been so long, like, I really want to, it's just like I don't. I'm so tired, I'm stressed at work, and I'm stressed at home, or the kids have been really bad, or, the little one's keeping us up, so we don't get the time, or we don't get the sleep, or the desire's not there because 'cause we'd rather sleep and, sacrifice it here and there because we gotta do that." So, yeah, no, I think a lot of it goes to those things, right? And then the
Mhm.
rest of it kind of falls, like the resentment comes, or there's shame that comes into play, there's resentment that comes
Yeah.
into play, there's connection that breaks over time, that all comes into all this as well. But then what men will do a lot of the times is if they maybe there is an actual problem too with embarrassment, maybe there is some ED or PE here or
Yeah.
both maybe. And so they're
Yes.
embarrassed of those things because now they're all of a sudden, and it's like, I don't, this is weird. Now I can't get up and stay up like I used to,
Yes. Yes.
especially men as we get older. I was a young spry buck once upon a time. Used to have no issue with it, right?
Mhm.
And then this last time when me and my wife were trying, it felt like it took forever for things to happen, because I was a lot older. It's been 5 years since I had my last kid, and so it's like now before I was in my mid-20s, now I'm in my early 30s. Big difference biologically, right, for me, and so there was parts of me that were thinking, "Man, is my shit just not good? Like, am I just not good? Am something wrong? Am I just not working?" Because like, I have 2 living proofs that it works,
Yes.
but it's not working this time.
Yeah.
And so it's just one of those things, it's like, man, it gets in your head, right? It gets in your head. It's like, "Man, why is
Mhm.
this not happening? Am I the problem? Am I the issue why we're not getting, why we're not conceiving? Is it me? Is it what I'm doing? Is it something I'm not doing? Is it like where is it coming from?" And then men look to quick fixes, right? Like, okay, well, I saw a pill on TikTok. Let me order Blue Chew, or let me order, some kind of pill or something, right? To
Mhm.
to at least get this solved, temporarily, but then,
Yes.
that doesn't work, you're still in the same boat. So,
Mhm.
how can we kinda unwind a lot of these things, the stress, the overload, the mental
Mhm.
pressure, the
Mhm.
embarrassment, the resentment, the shame, all those things. There's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a lot there. But the good thing is that they're all connected. So if you can
Mhm,
find a root cause, that really helps you shift. You'll be able to knock down several of those. I think you said it really well when you said, then we get in our head and then we have this loop of everything. The
mhm,
the one key to regaining erectile strength and lasting longer in bed, because that's my second specialty, is actually helping men have very long erections that can last for 3+ hours and at any age, including in your mid 70s or late 70s. And I could tell you stories about that of couples who are in their mid 70s and having marathon sex multiple times a day without
Yeah,
any
well,
pills,
you
without any lube.
look at
So
Al
what I want
Pacino, he called her the child at se
Yes, yes, yes. No. So what that tells us is that it really is not necessarily a function issue. It's a nervous system function. So I want to talk about that. So when you're in your head, you're disconnected from your penis and you are in a state of sympathetic nervous system. So you're in your fight, flight, or freeze mode. And when you are under tension, you're actually contracting the pelvis, contracting the jaw, the tongue, the chest. You know, the belly is tight, pelvis is incredibly tight, and blood doesn't flow. What makes erections stronger, and that's actually what the blue pill does, right? It brings blood to the genitals. It opens up the arteries. So, but you can take a pill or you can actually really like lift the dam, right? So you can shift from a stress mode to a relaxation mode. The key is to move from tension to relaxation. And it can be done with training in a matter of a few seconds. You train to get there, but it's basically getting out of your head and dropping your awareness in your body, in your genitals, in your guts, in your anywhere you feel tension, being able to feel yourself and bring yourself back into a state of relaxation. And when you're able to relax, you, including your pelvic floor muscle, and we'll talk about that. To last longer, it's not about tightening, prevent ejaculation. It's actually relaxing so you can feel very distinctively where the tension is, how it's building, and you can learn how to move sexual energy in different parts of your body, but remaining relaxed, keeping your pelvic floor relaxed, enables you to keep the blood flowing and trapped in your penis and lasting a lot longer. And so the work is as a man, and that's what will not only make you first feel more relaxed and healthy in your body, but also a better lover, a better dad, a better worker, is to learn to train your nervous system to have more capacity. So let's take an example. When you have premature ejaculation, it's that you don't have the capacity to hold the intensity of the pleasure. And poof, it goes, right? But if you were able to train your nervous system, because sex is a nervous system capacity activity, if you could be able to hold so much pleasure without collapsing, then you're able to last a lot longer and have a lot more pleasure. What's really interesting is men have so much tension, they're not sensitive enough. It feels crazy to say that, but this is how it works. When I have a lot of tension, I'm not very sensitive. So I need to stroke and have more friction to feel something, and poof, in 2 seconds, I'm in the point of no return. But when I'm more relaxed, I can really feel everything. I can breathe, I can connect with my body, I can shift pace, I can shift angles, and I can really connect. And we can talk about women and what women want when they become mothers, because the sex and the relationship will change and will move men from performance to actually presence. And that's the key. The key of tantric sex is to move a man from a state of tension and performance and overly provider mode, but in his head, worried about how to, into becoming present moment to moment, knowing deep down inside that when the shit hits the fan, he'll
Mhm.
know what to do in the moment, right? Because that's in your DNA. You know how to do when you will be here. But I am here, present and aware of where what I need, and I'm relaxed. And so the tools of Tantra teach you how to become more present in your body and therefore with your sex, with your children, with your wife, etc. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because if you're relaxed, you because if you're at a point in tension, right, your head, you can be thinking about other things, you lose focus, you lose that connection, and then you have to fight to get it back, and then maybe you lose what you had, and now you're a little softer, now you gotta get it back, now you gotta refocus, and that causes more tension, and now it's like, "Okay, well, I keep drifting in and out, I keep losing focus, losing concentration, and now I gotta get it back, and let's just speed this up, get it done over with so I can, go back to those thoughts kinda thing, right? Move back to it.
Yes.
No, it makes 100% sex. So or sense, sorry. And then is there a good way, like, if the woman in this situation, right, notices, like, these things going on with her partner, is there a way that this conversation can be, like, started or, like, talked about or brought up from that point of view? Because a lot of men aren't gonna talk about it, right? Like, a lot of men will listen to this will be like, "Yeah, that's great, but, it's not gonna change this thing. It's not gonna change anything
Mm-hmm.
I do. It's not gonna change what I do, why I do it, or, anything I'm already doing." So is there a way
Mm-hmm.
that the woman can bring this up and talk about it with her partner or even, like, the other side of that too, a way a man can bring this up to where it doesn't feel like it's attacking or like, "Well, I'm this way because of you," but, like, have a real honest conversation about it.
Yes, you actually don't have to talk about it. Let me tell you about this. So I'm actually going to share a little story that was amazing. One of my clients, a father, here you start with taking responsibility with yourself.
Mhm.
He started taking responsibility by doing a little breath work, 5 minutes a day, only 5 minutes a day on his own, and slowing his breath. And I taught him how to do genital breathing. So you're breathing as if you were breathing through your genitals, like if your penis was inhaling and exhaling. So he did that little 5 minute exercise. And really, it was not a sexual exercise, right? It was a relaxation and body connection exercise and connecting with the pulse of life in his penis, like that life force, that aliveness that's normally there when we're relaxed and isn't when we're not. And so it was just nervous system work, right? And then every 2 days or something, he and his wife sit on the couch and he generally massages her feet in the evening. Just a week later, he came back to our session and he said, my partner didn't say, we didn't talk about sex. And she didn't say anything about sex. But suddenly she stopped and she looked at me like that, like, something feels different. You look different. What have you done? It's nothing. And he's like, it's nice. And then there was this instant relaxation between the two of them. And then a foot massage led to something else, which typically doesn't, but did here. Women, so ironically, just him taking responsibility for regulating his own nervous system started the intimacy with his wife. You don't need to talk about it. The key is when you shift, she will shift. So what women want, they want your presence. They don't need you to do anything more. They want you to be here when you're here, meaning you're here, you're in your body. You're not in your head thinking about something else or worrying. You're here with her. So they are emotionally extremely sensitive, energetically sensitive. If you shift from a place of relaxation, you inspire safety. Presence inspires safety for a woman. It's not what you do or say. So that's why I don't recommend necessarily talking, because a woman will, and you know that, you'll say something and then she'll be looking like, are your actions matching your words? Right?
Mhm.
So forget the words, jump to action, which is actually being more relaxed and in the moment and attentive. And I wanted to say that when you are in your body, feeling yourself, you will feel her more. And so that connection and that presence is what makes her feel relaxed and open up, open her arms, her heart, her legs. This is really the key, really, no, truly. And feeling that presence makes her feel safe. And also, I had this conversation recently. Samina, is the way that you show safety for a woman in the bedroom. She knows you're a dependable father. She knows, you can help create a home. She knows you're a serious worker. It's not this kind of safe. She knows you're not going to, hurt her physically. So for her, can my body relax in yours? Can I open them deeper when you're inside me? Because I know that you're going to stay and last a distance. And for you, that means working on your stamina by relaxing, by slowing down, by breathing, by coming back to yourself. And so when that's all you have to do is work on increasing your nervous system capacity by relaxing. And there's different tools you can do, including certain practice of self-pleasure that will help you get there.
Definitely. No, it
Does
makes
that make
sense.
sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, because when you're relaxed, it can change everything, right? When you're relaxed, then both people can relax, and when both people are relaxed, then it just makes it such a better experience, right? It's like when you someone like first gets together with someone, right? Like you're both like very relaxed, you're very excited. Like, there's a little bit of stress, but
Yes,
it's more like excitement, and you're just like, let's just go for this, and we're not really thinking too much, right? And
exactly.
those thoughts aren't there. And so but then
Exactly.
over time, as you're, like, stay together, things like that, then all those things change over time, right? So
Yes. And I think as young parents, you don't need more technique in the bedroom. You need more emotional safety because both you and her nervous system are going a little frantic. And
mhm.
so if your partner becomes that safe haven, I help people create a couple bubble. I call it the couple bubble. It's like when everything's so harsh outside, everything's going crazy and you just, okay, we're creating our couple bubble. It's a moment like intention is very important. Intentionally, you come to a place where, okay, let's just be here with each other. and just breathe together and relax emotionally and hold space for each other, this brings intimacy, and this feels erotic, right? Intimacy is that emotional connection of feeling that you see me, I see you. And I found that we don't need more performance tricks. We need more emotional capacity. And I've noticed that women need emotional presence, and men need safety to feel desired as well. Not just women, men too. It needs to feel like it's not a landmine and it's like tiptoeing around, right? You want to feel like you can be safe, you can be yourself, you can relax. And I have
Mhm.
found that performance pressure kills arousal, right? Performance pressure kills arousal. As you said so well at the
Mhm.
beginning, explaining how the head gets there. So, and when you are in that headspace, the way to get out of it without talking, because, okay, here's a trick. You know you're in your head if you talk,
Mhm.
because the speech is the left side of your brain. Your emotion and your reptilian brain, your instinctual brain, it's the right side. So when you're in your body, or when you sound a grunt or that's not speech. That's right side, right? So when you
Yeah.
speak, you're in your head. So I invite people when they're feeling like they're too much in their head to get back to your body. It's slow embodied touch. It can just be pulling her and just hug. A hug is incredible. One thing that I have learned to do, because I'm an entrepreneur and my partner is an entrepreneur, multiple entrepreneur, and he usually comes home after me, and I can feel it's a ball of nerves, like work is still in his everywhere. The first thing for me instantly, it's to hug him. And I hug until I can feel his muscles relax. And you can do the same with your woman. Just hug her until you feel that she's melting in you. And now we can move on with the rest of the evening. So if you make it an intention, and I teach women to do the same, they have to be responsible for their own nervous system equally, right? They cannot be like a grenade ready to blow off for her man. But if you take responsibility for, okay, I'm arriving home, or I'm now with the kids, I'm now with my wife, where am I in my nervous system? Am I here? Am I under tension? Am I jarred? Let me do a few breaths or a few things, and we can talk about ideas so that I can be here relaxed and then move forward.
Absolutely.
And
I
your
love that.
touch, your sex could be the same. You go to bed at night, you don't necessarily feel like you're ready for 40 minutes. Why? The fact of thinking 40 minutes, right there, you're in performance pressure.
Mhm.
How about you just roll, look at each other and hug, caress her hair, just look into each other's eyes. Eyes gazing is beautiful. And just be there and see what happens. Because the more connection you have and the slower you go and the more vulnerable you let yourself be, the more desire and blood flow you're going to have. And the thing I wanted to say for men specifically, and that has to do with how you use your sexual energy. You can use your sexual energy to build your body up, and you can learn how to even have orgasm without ejaculation. That's a little advanced, but it exists. I just want to let you know that
Mhm.
orgasm and ejaculation are two different things. A man orgasms just a little second before ejaculation. It's two different things. So you can learn how to slow your sex, how to go slower so that you don't deplete yourself with overly coming and coming in a state of tension. If you come in a state of relaxation after having had really good sex that was nurturing, that was filling you up, you will not be tired the next day. You won't be wired and exhausted and needing 3 days to recover. So manage your energy, including your turn on and your ejaculation and how much you ejaculate. You can also decide how much, but stay in tune with, am I depleting myself or am I building myself?
Gotcha. It's almost too like if you think about it in some of this, we mentioned it a couple times, like being in tune with your body, being aware of yourself. It's almost as if like ED and PE are more signals than
Yes,
versus failures. It's
exactly.
really your body really telling you like, hey,
Yes,
there's too much stress, there's too much cortisol, there's not enough
yes,
testosterone, everything's imbalanced, you're
yes,
not regulated.
yes,
You're having some performance anxiety, like, it's
yes,
all mental stuff and nervous system stuff that you gotta get under control, right?
yes.
Like, you're not in tune, and it's funny because as men, we're always, like, joking or joked about with, like, "You were thinking with the wrong head," kinda thing,
Well,
and
actually, yeah.
yeah, but in this, like, conversation we're having, like, yes, like, it is, like, its own thing, its own domain, like, it needs its own, like, space. You need to have your own like, it is its own head,
It is its own head.
and
I love that you say that. Yes, the penis is sentient. And as you say, it's a signal. I look at it like I always tell my men, your penis is always right. And if it doesn't want to go up, it's right. If it goes up, it's right. If it's half up, it's right. If it goes quickly, it's right. It is telling you the truth. So you don't have to fight against it. Instead, listening. What does your penis want? What does your
Hmm.
penis need? And so in Tantra, the body is sentient, meaning it has a conscience. Not just the brain is the center of thinking. Your heart thinks as well. I mean, feels. Then your
Hmm.
gut feels, your cock feels, and they all have their inner wisdom and intelligence. And so when we talk about being embodied, which Tantra teaches you to be embodied lover, it's the best lover. When you feel a man, as a woman, if I feel my man inside me and he's inside his penis leads the lovemaking as opposed to his head. This head, if the other head gives the lovemaking, I can feel the penis is heavier. The penis is actually slower naturally because it's not pushed into friction. Penis wants to be there a while. It wants to expand. It wants to merge with the other skin. It wants to just it's a very different thing. And penis wants time. It wants love. It wants to be seen. It wants to be understood. It wants to be desired. Just like a woman's, I always say the women I work with, I call her pussy because it includes the outside and outside vagina, so the entire vulva. Pussy likes to be loved and worshipped, and she likes to be the queen of the show, right? She wants to be adored, but so does the penis. The penis does want to be worshipped. And so it wants to be the king of the show. And so if you allow yourself to trust your penis and let it guide you, and if it doesn't want to go up, don't force him. Instead, relax deeper, get into touch, get into other things, ask for what you want also. I think it's something women are taught to tell what they desire, but I think men need to feel empowered to say what they want as well. And I have found, and it's been really interesting working with men, when I started this work, it was fascinating because I discovered that men, just as women, and sometimes more, want to go slower, want to last longer, and they feel rushed by women. Women want them to come. Some men say, I don't want to come. I just want to be continuing to have sex and not necessarily come today, or I just don't feel like it, or I feel like I want to be longer. And women start to be edgy if the man doesn't come because they feel something's wrong with them, that they're not pretty enough, they're not whatever. There's this self-confidence. And so there's this pressure on men. And I feel that part of being a man and being present is also being a leader. You have to defend your penis. You have
Hmm.
to defend yourself and you have to stand up for yourself and say, reassure her. We can talk about reassure her, tell her she's beautiful, she turns you on, and tell her, I really love this sex and I want it to be nurturing. It feels good to my system. It's the right pace for me today. And this is what I want. Right. And so that's what I invite you to do is if you could shift into sex becoming a source of resourcing yourself, expanding your relaxation, kind of offsetting the stressors of work and life, you will see that it will change your intimacy, it will change your health, but also it will change the way you show up at work. Because a man who has a very fulfilling sex life is a man who is calmer, more present, more grounded. And that is felt at work as well. So
Yeah.
it's worth
Yeah.
investing time in this.
No, definitely, because it can definitely help in a lot of different areas, right? And then, if essentially if you and your partner have a good connection at home and you're raising children, then that's going to affect the overall home as well. Being able to be more
Exactly.
connected and in tune with each other, and just know each other better and be able to take care of each other, right? And that's a huge win to the home overall, better.
Yep. So typically when people think about tantric sex, they think more about exotic sex, and tantra is not about exotic sex. It's a way you are in sex. It's not different positions and like it's not an acrobatic kind of sex. It's a sex that is intentional, present, relaxed, deeply sensational, meaning you are so self-aware that you can feel pleasure in an incredible way. You can become a multi-orgasmic man. You can learn how to have breast gasms, nipple gasms, brain gasms. You can learn how to have, it's not just around the penis. You can start having orgasm all around your body. You can be tingling from head to feet, even before an ejaculation. You become so a master of yourself that you're able to have extraordinary sensitive sex. That's what
Mhm.
Tantra helps you to do. And then you're able to reach those mental states of bliss free. And so you come to Tantra for two different ways. Typically, there's two paths in tantric sex. There's the better sex, and there's the sacred sex. And that's when you use your sexuality as a way to have a spiritual awakening. I don't know if you've ever had sex in a way that was so magnificent, like so big, so incredible orgasm that it just can only change the way you were thinking and operating. Like you came out of it a different person. Have you ever had this experience of being totally cracked open by sex? Right? Now imagine that every time you have sex, it's like this. Imagine having this 7 days a week. And you can give this to yourself alone too. I think it's very important for a young dad, especially those who don't have enough sex, either because they don't want to, because of the pressure, because their partner doesn't want to have a daily self-pleasure practice, tantric self-pleasure practice, not to jerk off and get off, not like this, but more really to feel pleasure as a conduit to relaxation and to more embodiment, more presence, more calm, and just so much pleasure that it almost like it does change your hormonal makeup. There's practices in tantric self-pleasure practice where you massage your testicles a certain way, you massage your penis a certain way, and that boosts your testosterone huge. One of my clients started this massage of his testicle 2 weeks ago, and the penis stretches and massage. And he already has felt a difference in his testosterone level, in his level of sharpness, and his penis has grown in size naturally and in weight, girth, and length. Because what happens is, let's talk about size for a moment, because everybody loves that size conversation. I hear it a lot from the men I work with. What makes a penis longer? It's actually relaxation. Sounds crazy to hear this, but when you're very tight in your pelvic floor and your butt's always tight and everything's tight because your life is tight, you have less, you're basically tightening the penis, and there's less space for blood to fill. When you start learning how to relax your pelvic floor, your perineum, there's 4 main types of muscles in the pelvic floor for a man's erections. When you learn how to relax this, relax the glutes, relax your anus, relax your perineum, start doing those stretches and the massages, you create additional space, up to an inch of space in length, an inch in girth, because your penis and your muscles and all of this is more relaxed. And so there's more blood who can flow in. And when you have more surface, more blood, you have more sensation as well. This you practice on your own. It's hard to become a better lover just through lovemaking with a partner, because when you have a partner, half your mind is in your partner's monitoring your partner. You can't really prevent that, especially when you're a junior tantric lover, right? But by you practicing connecting with yourself, learning your penis language, learning your whole body connection, being really good at your own sexuality, then you can offer this to your partner. And also you'll be less defaced by your woman's, because that's women test men. Have you ever noticed that?
Mhm.
They
Yeah,
test men all the time,
all the
nagging. So
time.
there's pushing. So there's 2 ways they'll test. There's multiple reasons. But the reason they test is to test that your presence is infallible. Like you are the mountain. You're going to stay. And so when women pressure you and it's unconscious, they don't realize it, but that's their nature. They're poking you to see if you're going to collapse and fall or not. So when you become so grounded in your body, and your sexuality is the most grounded thing, it's your life force. I mean, you came from it and you gave birth, right? So there's nothing more powerful than your sex. And if your sex can be the force that drives you and grounds you, your woman can test you all she wants. She can be nagging, crying, collapsing, silent treatment, whatever. Every 10 minutes, you will just be having the capacity to hold all of it. You'll be that container that can hold the storms, but it doesn't. You don't need to take action. You just need to be there and say, I know you're testing me. I'm good. I got this. I'm feeling grounded. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And so you need that practice, and it can be 10, 15 minutes a day. But having a daily connection with your penis, it's your manhood. It's your root in chakra. So there's something called the chakras in Tantra. It's center of energy in your body. And the root one is located at your perineum, which is located behind the testicles and in front of the anus, that band here of skin.
Mhm.
That's your perineum. That's your root. And the root goes with feeling rooted in money, having a home, feeling safe. That's the point of safety. And that's also a powerful point of pleasure for men. And this is the muscle also behind it. You have the muscle that triggers ejaculation. If it's too tight, you come quick. You want to keep it relaxed and rooted and grounded. Well, that's a lot of information, but I wanted to know you don't have to talk
Yeah.
to your woman. You have to take responsibility for yourself and your nervous
Yeah.
system capacity.
No, it absolutely makes sense. I mean, you don't have to have the conversation. I think it makes a lot of sense because it does start with self, right? It does
Yes,
start with self. It does start with being able to be in control of your nervous system, of your own regulation, of your own stress, your own cortisol levels, your testosterone levels. Having these mindful practices. Of course, there's probably an element of this with nutrition and lifestyle factors too that helps and support
absolutely.
as well. But there's also not a lot of nonverbal communication, but there is also some verbal communication, being able to communicate your needs and being able to
Yes.
communicate what you need. And also, knowing like there's no shame in this. Like if you are struggling, being able to work on it and develop it and to change it and to get better at it. I think the
Mm-hmm.
big takeaway with all this, right, is that they're like if you are having like any sexual struggles, they're not personal failures, right? They're more so messages from your body asking for attention, care, regulation.
Yes.
Um, and you need to reflect like where is the stress or pressure showing up in your body and what might it be trying to tell you? And I really I think what you said is about your penis is right. Right. If it's only half, it's only half. It's right. If
Yeah.
it's not, it's not. That's right. If it is all
Yes.
the way, it's right. Great, right?
Yes.
And that really does show you a sign. I think all men who can relate to that are like, I could think of a time or two where, it probably was right when it, didn't wanna, for whatever reason kind of thing. And, sometimes our body tells us things and, versus our mind telling us things. We have to
Mm-hmm.
listen either way. Um,
Yes.
and so I think it is important, right, for us to all practice, lowering the stress at any given time, right? Whether that's breath work, movement, walking, or sleep, or finding something. Like
Oh,
I got
self
a home
pleasure.
sauna. Yeah, I got a home sauna a few weeks ago, and it's been great with helping like reduce overall stress and be able to, work through just like overall relaxation and stuff for myself and de-stress. Like, I do it at night sometimes. Sometimes if I do know I'm gonna have a heck of a day, I'll try to get up early and get in there before the day goes so I can start the day with less stress than I'm already
Mm-hmm.
taking on. So, these are important, right? And I notice too, like, for myself, like, when I am less stressed, when I'm more relaxed, everything else kind of flows after that with this stuff, with, like, my own health here and, being intimate with my wife kinda thing, right? Like, it flows a lot better. Like, relaxation is huge. Being able to be
Mm-hmm.
relaxed and be in that state of mind. Because if you're not relaxed, you're not gonna enjoy it. Or if you're overly tired, it's not gonna be the same. But if both can be relaxed, if you're relaxed sorry, this is my cat. She does this at least once an episode. Then it's gonna make a big difference.
And what I like about what you're saying when your example of the sauna is, and I want to stress this, relaxation is not a concept that it's not something you do with your brain. You cannot tell yourself to relax. It's something you feel. And so
Yeah.
anything that you do, right? That's why exercise is such a big one, typically for men, like going for a run or going for pumping iron makes you feel relaxed. Why is that? Because it gets you out of your head.
Mhm.
And that's why I love the practice of tantric self-pleasure, because as soon as you have a touch that is conscious, you become relaxed. It gets you out of your head and into your hands and into your body. And it's easily accessible. It's like, right, this, you don't have to put your sneakers and get out of the house. So yeah,
Yeah.
I hope this is
So it's
helpful.
No, Emma, this has been great. If people want to learn more about your work, I kind of hit on it a little bit or briefly touched on it, the CTRA for the listener this week. But again, to kind of recap that I just hit on, your struggles are not personal failures. They're messages from the body for attention, care, regulation. And as you're reflecting this week, as you're listening to this episode, where is the stress or pressure showing up in your body? Is it in your lower back? Is it in your pelvic floor? Is it in your shoulders? Is it wherever it might be, right? What is your body trying to tell you about the stress and being able to handle it better, right? Is it in your gut? Is it in your stomach? Are you pooping a lot, not pooping as much as you used to? Is it difficult to whatever, right? If you're having any ED or PE, what is your body trying to tell you maybe? Think about it that way. Not think of it as like a shame or a don't you don't have to go into a shame cycle about it because it happens to all of us at times. Right. Just listen to your body and really, prioritize your actions, for the listener. Prioritize one daily practice at lower stress, breath work, movement, walking, exercising, sleep, and notice how it impacts your energy and your presence and your performance probably too when you are able to lower that stress and relax a little bit more and be totally mindful. And of course, another thing that you mentioned too, like communicate. say what you need to from your partner and say, "Hey, I need, you know, I need this, or I need this, or I need this, or I need that," kind of thing. Communicate those things, and I bet your partner will be very, very receptive as well. So, cat hair everywhere now. But yeah, if people want to follow your work, they can go to tantric-awakenings.com.
They can even go to the page that says dash forward slash SSDM, Sound Self Discovery Meditation SSDM. I, if you're able, exactly, if you go into Fertility Vault and then SSDM, right here you can see I am the one I crave. I've created a self-pleasure audio. It's a tantric self-pleasure meditation that will help you really relax and find yourself. So it's a connection with your own body and finding confidence as a man again amidst the pressure of the light. You'll learn how to breathe, how to make your touch on your own body very present, very nurturing. And these are skills that will help you regulate your nervous system. And they're great skills to know because women will understand that when they feel you that you touch them this way. So I hope this is going to help you relax your nervous system and connect with your sexuality in your ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Emma, this has been a great conversation.
Thank you,
It's
Jay.
one that I think is often avoided a lot of times by men, and by shows that don't specifically talk about this, but it is one of those conversations that, men, we do this stuff every day. So, I mean, let's make it better for ourselves. Let's make it have an impact. Let's make it be, the best it can for ourselves and for our partners. And because it's a huge part of our relationship, and we understand that. Emma, thanks for having the conversation with me today, helping
Thank you.
reframe this conversation that does impact mental health, relationships, and fatherhood more than I think most men realize or want to admit out loud. People, if you're listening, if today's episode helped normalize something you've been carrying quietly, share it with another dad who might need to hear it. It's okay to share these things one on one, privately with each other. And again, make sure you're subscribed, leave a review, keep choosing growth physically, mentally, and emotionally. This is the Young Dad Podcast. I'm your host, Jay. And until next time, thanks for tuning in. All right, Emma, that's